Hi, John Lusk here with Lusk Archery Adventures. I'm excited to test another mechanical head here in my ongoing saga of broadhead tests. Please check out the other tests here in my video. I've tested about 100 different broadheads. I think, I don't know, over 50 mechanical heads, and then all kinds of different single bevels and super heavyweights and double bevels and multiple blade heads. I mean, just check them out. If you're a broadhead junkie like me, you'll like it. But today I'm going to be testing a new head that I've been wanting to get my hands on, and that is the Thorn Archery Broadhead. The Thorn Archery Broadhead. I've gotten more requests to test this broadhead than any other, and I'm a little late to the game, but I thought, well, let me give it a whirl. Here's the package that it comes in, and it's all made in the USA, which I appreciate. Some interesting things about it are, first of all, just props to a company that comes out with an innovative design. There's not a lot of innovation when it comes to broadheads. It hasn't already been done, but Thorn Archery is really going after something here. And the materials themselves, you've got an aluminum solid ferrule, a one-piece ferrule that's aluminum, but it's 70-75. So if I'm shooting an aluminum ferrule, I really want it to be 70-75. That's pretty strong. That's stronger than a lot of steels. And so I appreciate that about it. And then it's got a stainless steel tip on the plunger portion there. And then it's got stainless steel blades. They're 440C stainless steel, which is nice as well. And they're relatively thick. They're 0.032 inches thick. And they're not that long. The total cutting diameter is 1.75 inches when it's fully deployed like that. And so it's not so long that the blades get really weak, but it's long enough that it's going to put a nice hole in something. And then what you'll notice here and how it works is you'll notice that it's got this plunger type tip, okay, this piston type tip, if we can put it there. You can see it's got like 3 prongs on the tip, and it really kind of grabs right there. It's not designed just to be a super cutting tip as much as a grabbing tip. So it grabs hold of stuff, and that plunges this plunger down, this piston down, and forces the blades open. And what they do to keep them closed is they have an innovation here. Instead of a rubber band or some kind of other bracket thing, they've got this little shear pin. And this is like a soft rubber little shear pin. You put it in there in the holes. You close the blades have holes in them, and then you pull it through till it can't go through anymore. That little knob is sticking out. And then you take a knife or scissors or something and just cut it off. And maybe you wonder, like, well, why do you have to cut it off? It's so you have something to pull it through with, okay? It wouldn't work if you weren't able to pull it through. And so that's it. Once that is gone, that's the head. And these blades are like super snug. They will not open prematurely. I can guarantee you that. They're snug in there. That's why this head is extremely good for really fast bows and for crossbows. They have them for crossbows as well. You can go well over 400 feet per second, and this is going to be a great head to use. And then what happens is when you hit this medium, you hit some medium, 7 pounds of pressure force this piston down, this plunger down, and then it cuts through this soft plastic, boom, and then the blades deploy. And it's kind of cool when you do that. I was testing it out myself just to see how much pressure it would take and with the pin in it, and I pressed down, and man, they popped open and cut my thumb. So they're sharp, and it definitely opens like that. It's going to open every time. There's no way it can't open with those gripper things and with the pressure coming down. And so then it will open up like that, and that'll be your broadhead. And it's like deploys not only because the piston pushes it down, but then these other the ends of the blades kind of keep it open. It has a little bit of movement that it can have to go around bone a little bit, which is kind of nice. And that's your head. So I'm eager to test it out and see how well it does. Now, I will say this, an observation. Whenever you're shooting a head, you're looking for like something that can fly really good, can penetrate well, has a decent sized cut, and is durable. Those are like the magic things, but everything's a trade-off. And so usually when I'm looking for a head, I look for something that's going to do really well in one area, maybe 2 areas, and pretty well in the others, and then use it for the kind of game and kind of hunting that I need that particular strength to be used for. So the superpower of the Thorn Archery head is its flight. I mean, that's it in the closed position. It's not like similar to a field point. It like is a field point, and it flies not only like a field point, it kind of it is a field point in flight. A lot of heads claim they fly like a field point, and believe me, I know, with a well-tuned bow and with good form, I can shoot pretty much any decent fixed blade head out to 100 yards and pop balloons with it. I don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to huffing and puffing, nerves are kind of rattling there. It's a super long shot, maybe a western shot. Winds are blowing, or your bow is not really super well tuned, or your form is not super consistent. Then you want to have a really forgiving head, an extra forgiving head. This is the most forgiving head, I believe, on the market. It certainly is of any of the ones that I've tested. I've shot it at longer ranges. I mean, it is a field point. It's just a little bit longer than most field points, maybe like ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch, based on what kind of field points you're using. But it is a field point. So really cool design in that. If you're looking for a flyer for like pronghorn or muley at long range, or like I said, if winds are there, you get a little nervous, or even like a whitetail, if you're in a tree stand and your bow is not tuned and you don't have time to tune your bow, I don't recommend that. But if that's the boat you're in, I can promise you this is going to fly exactly like your field points. Even other mechanicals, they'll have a little bit of blades sticking out. And even that little bit, if your bow's not really well tuned, that's going to cause some planing. I've seen rage broadheads veer off course quite a bit with a poorly tuned bow. With this, you're not going to have that problem because there's literally nothing exposed. So my wonderings about it are going to be the penetration and the durability. The cut size is sufficient. I want to see if it opens on impact, and I want to see how durable it is and see how well it penetrates. So to do that, I'm going to be testing it into my mechanical broadhead box. Okay, I'm using that for 2019. You've seen me already do some heads into that. Please check them out if you haven't already. And I use as a baseline for penetration the kill zone, because I consider the kill zone, the NAP kill zone, like the barely acceptable level for penetration. It's acceptable. I mean, I've killed a lot of animals with the kill zone. It's very durable, got a big cut, and it will penetrate enough to kill animals. But I really prefer something that's going to be a little bit better, or something that's not going to be worse for sure. And so I want to see how it does compared to the kill zone. I'm not going to shoot the kill zone again. I did that in one of my previous tests here, and you saw that it went through the first layer, but then did not even touch the second layer. So we'll see how this does in that regard. I'm going to shoot it through one layer of rubber foam matting, and then one ½ inch of MDF, and then there's going to be another layer of MDF, and we'll see how well it does in that. Then I'm going to shoot it through a layer of MDF at a 45-degree angle. Not sure how it's going to hold up or penetrate with this gripper tip and the aluminum ferrule with that 45-degree angle, but let's give it a whirl and see what happens. And let me just add, as always, I'm going to be using my new rig for 2019. Absolutely love this bow. It's the Bowtech SR6. And I got the tap gear on there. Man, these string stoppers and stabilizers are incredible. Love my black gold sight. Man, this is just like, this is the cat's meow. That's like this old phrase my dad used to say. But I just absolutely love this bow, and I'm getting great speed with it. And then I'm going to be using the Bishop Mammoth FOC King arrows. Remember, you got to watch it if you're reading that. But these arrows are just indestructible, and so I keep shooting this arrow. I shoot it into concrete and everything, and I mean, it just doesn't break. So let's give it a shot. And I'm also using nocturnals here for this, so we can get a good glimpse of the flight. So here's where it initially went into the foam, and you can see it advertises 1 3/4 inches, and it actually got just slightly more than 1 3/4 inches, almost 2 inches of that initial cut, and it opened completely there. And then if we go around to see the penetration, it blew through that first layer of MDF, and then it went on and stuck in the second layer. Let's see if we can, focus there. That gripper tip stuck in the second layer and embedded pretty hard in there, but it didn't reach up to the blades. You can see it was about an inch or so short of where the blades actually are, maybe an inch and a half of where the blades are. And then here's the head itself, and it penetrated well, better than the kill zone, which is great. I consider the kill zone, like I said, kind of the baseline of the acceptable area. And the kill zone only went through the first layer, did not even touch the second layer. Here, the Thorn went through the first layer and embedded halfway up the tip into the second layer. So not great penetration by any stretch, but okay. I consider it okay, good enough. Its superpower is not penetration. Its superpower is flight. And I will add durability to that. I was really impressed that the blades are just not nicked at all. They slide up and down the ferrule really well. Nothing was bent. And they hold their edge really well, cutting into my nail. So let's test it now on the angled shot. I'm curious to see what happens there. Okay, now we're going to shoot it into this MDF, half inch of MDF at a 45-degree angle. And I'm curious to see how it does on an angled shot. So let's give it a whirl. Here we can see the entrance into that 45-degree angled shot. It did very well. The blade's fully deployed, it cut right in, there was no skidding. And then if we turn it over, we can see the exit here. And remember, behind the target, behind the board, I have a Reinhardt. And so most of the heads penetrate they stick out about this far because they get stopped in the Reinhardt. You can see the blades just starting to bulge out there through the back. It certainly opened up a big hole. It didn't go completely through, but then again, part of it did wedge into the Reinhardt. Let's see how it held up. Here's the head on the angled shot, and I pulled it out, and it did really well. Again, I was pretty surprised that the ferrule didn't bend at all, and the blades are still cut and nail. There's a little nick in one of the blades. It looks like closer toward the front. It looks like where it's like hitting, like when it reaches up to the top or something when the plunger comes down. I think that's probably what it is. It's just right up there. But the main part of the blades held up really well on that angled shot. So it spins true. Would be very easy just to touch up the blades a little bit, though may not even be necessary, but I like them sharp, and then get that wood out of the tip there, and then you'd be ready to shoot it again. So my overall view of this head is that it performed way better than I thought it was. I'll just be really honest. I was impressed. I was impressed with the durability. I did not expect it to be this durable, especially in the angled shot. I was impressed that the blades held their edge so well. I didn't expect that. I was impressed with the flight. I did expect that, and man, that did not disappoint. Again, that is its superpower. The penetration was a bit wanting. It's still in the acceptable range, but not the best penetration. So again, I think this could be a great choice for a head for long western shots, or nervous, windy long shots, or not so well tuned, not so well practiced bow and bow hunter using it for whitetail or whatever you may want. Good job, Thorne.